We were all rocked by the news that The Acolyte has been cancelled. Season 2 is not going to happen. I
Shocked,
know.
I tell you. Shocked.
Truly, humanity has lost something. Mostly in the form of YouTube ad revenue. But yeah, it's still lost something from the show not being aired. We'll never find out what they were going to do with Darth Plagueis.
No.
Oh, no.
He's going to be filed along with the Crimson Dawn with Darth Maul. We'll never know. It's just so unfair.
I feel good for Manny Jacinto, though. He was way too good for that show, and I hope he goes on to something far better than
He got an excellent birthday present by them canceling the show on his birthday.
Fired. That's wild.
Imagine the agent said the show's been canceled, by the way, which it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Happy birthday.
I feel bad for Lee Jung-jae. I mean, that guy literally learned English for this role.
It's just that was a mistake. He can move on. Squid Game season 2. Let's get going on that. It's fine. We all get drunk and make bad decisions sometimes.
Yeah, what do you mean sometimes? I mean, I think he's probably going to get more opportunities here in the West as well. Like, he can speak English now. Presumably, he'll improve with that. He seems to be able to fight pretty well. He's a pretty commanding actor, and
he can act. That's the important part.
Yeah, which is more than Amanda Stenberg can manage. So, yeah, that's definitely an advantage.
But didn't you know she doesn't care about your discourse? All right.
Yeah.
So she apparently doesn't. No.
Maybe she
doesn't care about dance choreography either, from what I've seen in that video. I honestly want to get her and that Australian breakdancing lass to just go at it. Man, I mean, I don't think any of us really expected that the Acolyte was going to come back. Like, it didn't seem very likely, just given the reception to it. But it's not often that Lucasfilm actually cancels something. They just stop talking about it usually. And then they just hope that people don't ask them questions about it.
Well, they've only ever cancelled one other thing, and it'll be interesting to see whether this goes the same way. So they cancelled Willow season 2, didn't they? Right?
Yes.
That god awful, because that was Lucasfilm specifically, a Disney Plus show of Willow, and then they actually removed it entirely from their library, so completely gone.
Yeah.
As a tax break, basically, sort of just remove it so they can sort of quantify that off as tax. And I do wonder if the Acolyte will go the same way, because they've tried to memory hole it. So it's cancelled. Sure, fine. We're all expecting that, RIP, my future car that I was going to buy. But what they've now gone and done is remove all the merchandise.
Yes, from
you can still earn money from it. But they're like, no. Oh, no. This didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that will go the same way, be completely removed.
Can
and
only
that's
hope.
Just done.
Well, and you even look at the characters, and they removed the characters too from any of the merch that you could filter by.
That's like the closest we can get to decanonizing, because they'll never actually decanonize.
Yeah, they haven't done it like on the Hasbro sites or anything yet. They did it on Disney, on the Disney site, which did have a few things. So it's still around, but believe me, there's a place called Ollie's here in the States, where all the shit goes, and it'll be filled with that stuff, and it will be eventually memory hold. But like retconning, like if they come out and just erase it and retcon the canon so they can, I don't know, screw up Plagueis again, that would be odd. I don't see them doing that, but it certainly was embarrassing enough. And I think there was talk of Lesbian Headlamp getting a writing team together for season 2. And this is the speculation out there is just Disney leaked this to just to stop. It's like, no, we're not doing this. let's leak it to sources. And in one of those leaks, and Ryan talked about it, but in the Hollywood Reporter, they talk about Amanda Stenberg's, the source talks about Amanda Stenberg's diss track, like it being not a very good idea.
No, crazy.
I know, insane, right?
I like the idea, by the way, of the boardroom. They're setting up season 2. They're like, we're not doing that. No. She says, I'll get writers this time. They're like, no.
We're moving the merch too.
We're just gonna get it off.
Nobody's buying the fucking.
And we'll quietly erase this over the course of the next 6 months and just try.
I wonder, is there a Basil toy that you could buy? Like, I really want to buy one and just put it in a fucking hydraulic press.
What a terrible show! What an absolutely terrible show!
I
think what's heavily comical about this is like the response. Oh my goodness me, the response. Obviously, and I'm sure you're probably going to get to it, but like, you're racist, you're incels, you're sexist, it's diverse. What you just hate people, and it's like honestly, if it wasn't for the people hate watching it, the viewership would have been significantly lower. So actually, you've got to thank us. To be fair,
we tried to save it. Damn it!
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, because
we still tried to save it. I put hashtag renew the Acolyte at the end of my last video. I wanted season 2.
I mean, I essentially like boosted this to 2 million people. You're welcome, Disney, and this is the thanks I get.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing my best.
At all.
But this it's the funny thing, actually, because the Mary Sue did an article about this, and you can always trust the Mary Sue. I'm sure you guys have actually covered this on FNT or whatever, but they're already complaining about it and blaming it on the toxic fans, where they say The Acolyte was a new and exciting show in the Star Wars franchise. That is, well, half correct.
Yeah,
fans were given a look at a time period in the High Republic era that's never been seen in live action. We had new characters to love. No, we didn't. A cliffhanger with Yoda. No one cared. And it was just exciting. You're lying. But any kind of change in Star Wars brings with it a rush of angry dude bros with their pitchforks. I mean, I like the idea of being a dude bro, actually. Just like, they never gave the series a chance. Through review bombings and hating on social media, these men made it. And it's obviously men. Like, it couldn't be women that didn't like
By the
this.
way, it's not a pitchfork. It's a trident, okay?
Yeah, there's a difference.
Big difference.
They made it possible for anyone to talk about the series. Still, fans of The Acolyte remained positive and fought through the noise that these guys were making.
Fan. You misspelled fan. Sorry.
No, there was definitely more than one. There was at least, I don't know, a dozen, maybe
7?
like 15, I'd say.
Okay.
And I love this.
Rachel Leichman does count as 2 because she's wider and she is tall.
This is true. I love this bit, though. Calls to renew the series poured in on social media right before the finale. I'm sure they were real people and not bots. And for a glorious moment, it felt like the fans who actually find joy in Star Wars could win for once. I mean, we used to find joy in Star Wars, but that was about 40 years ago. Instead, it's been announced that the show will not return for season 2. Whatever hope we had for more stories from The Acolyte were dashed, and it feels like those in charge gave in to the toxicity of this fan base. I mean, that's damning stuff. Right. I don't know how you guys feel.
Well,
I mean, they've given us the power.
Thanks, Mary Sue.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. I mean, we've got the power. We can just cancel shows, apparently. So thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
Look out, Disney.
This is This is what it comes down to, really, isn't it? Because like all the people who are crying and complaining and blaming people like us on social media, you guys had your chance to support this show. You guys had your chance to pump up those viewership numbers and make it a huge success. And guess what? You didn't do it because there's not enough of you. You know, ultimately, you are not as big of a group as you think you are. And maybe the bulk of people just want a good Star Wars show and they didn't get it.
Yeah. There's, on the one hand, you could absolutely say that we had zero effect in the sense that Disney aren't looking at videos from the 5 of us, for example, and going like, did they like it? Oh, they didn't. Let's cancel the show. They didn't like it. But on the other hand, surely any influence we would have had, even in the most minuscule way of literally one person per video deciding, I was thinking of watching it, but I guess I won't because they trust our taste or whatever. It's a really interesting conversation to figure out exactly what the cause is of the lower viewership. But the one thing you can't deny is the people who loved it weren't fucking supporting it properly. That's how it went.
What brought the negative attention to the show was actual clips from the show.
Exactly.
You could just present them without comment and they were getting roasted to hell because it was a bad show. Now, we knew it would be a bad show because of the approach Disney took. They prioritized diversity, and like this thing took 4 years to get to the screen anyway. And the minute we heard it involved former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, for begging Kathleen, and this came from begging Kathleen Kennedy on a red carpet for something else. That's where it came from. And she loved all the Star Wars. So they gave her a Star Wars because she co-wrote a niche popular show on Netflix, Russian Doll. So obviously she's got the chops to make a Star Wars show.
The consequences of this will be she'll get another show at some point for something else. Just keep going. Sure. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ryan Johnson. Knives Out. or glass
And
onion, whatever it is.
from what I gather, those actually make money. At least,
Yeah.
TLJ made money. It's just it also sabotaged the ability for Star Wars to make money as much in future.
Would you say it made money because it was good, or would you say it made money because it was Star Wars?
I famously am not a fan of TLJ.
No, I know, but that's
I don't
just
think anyone here is.
argument. People always make this argument. They're like, "Oh, it made money, so clearly it was good." It's like, well, no.
Star Wars had a lot of goodwill. It's the greatest cinematic IP of all time. It's the fact that it's still alive is a testament to what George created. Like any other franchise would be dead.
Yeah. There's always a momentum effect as well, where like if you've got a series, if the previous movie in that series was a huge hit, there's likely to be more momentum going into the next movie. And so even if it's bad, it will have a massive opening weekend, and so the box office will be relatively good.
And
it works in inverse as well.
You can trace the previous product, so to speak. Like I see the crippled success of Rise of Skywalker as is the actual result of like what TLJ did. TLJ's success, you could argue, is a result of TFA getting people ready for like reveals and setups and the future of Star Wars. And then TFA's success, you can absolutely attribute to the health of Star Wars as an IP. As much as you could say it would have done better or worse depending on how good the film is, I agree. But like nobody in the world at this point is looking to passionately defend TFA now.
No.
Yeah. I think as well, like they did a pretty good job marketing it. Because like the big criticism of the prequels, especially the first one, was like they were quite stodgy. They were very slow paced in a lot of ways, like the very wooden acting, and this just did the exact opposite. It was all very kinetic. There was a lot of member berries. There was a lot of key jangling. There was a lot of
politics, everyone.
Yeah, just a different kind. But anyway, I just thought, it was the antithesis of the prequels that everyone was kind of bored with, and so that was a massive bonus, I think, for fans who were just a bit jaded with that. And enough time had passed that they hadn't gotten to the sort of retrospective, we're reevaluating the prequels now. It was still very much the they suck kind of phase. And so this just came along at a good time. But yeah, it didn't last. But as with the Acolyte, that's not quantifiable in terms of box office success because there is no box office for it. But they'll know by their own metrics how many people watched it, and they'll know it wasn't worth 180 million.
We've had a better indicator of the success of the Acolyte than almost any other show in the history of Disney, outside obviously of mentioned Willow. But what's fascinating, we kind of mentioned this before we went live, but it seems the people who like the anger at its being cancelled seems to be coming from a bigger fan base than the people who fucking took the time to watch it.
Yeah,
it's
weird.
Activists, isn't it? Really, it's all about
that's
that.
got to be it.
Yeah. So they don't care about the show; they care what it represents. Yeah, to them.
It's like this was a loss for us, so now we're mad about the show we don't care about. Dude, have you seen the post where it's like, from all accounts, I've heard the show is excellent? It's like, what account? What are you talking about? It's like, and you haven't watched it. Like, you just thanks for letting us know. You have no fucking skin in the game. You're just doing it because you want to have a win. For like some vague.
It's so simple. If something's good, people will watch. They'll consume it.
Yeah,
it's that simple. It's not like there's no freaking science behind it.
Well, did you see the post comparing it to Breaking Bad? They were like, Breaking Bad's first season wasn't the full story.
Why do all the sci-fi and fantasy shows want to be Breaking Bad now?
But it's not even like Breaking Bad's first episode. Nothing like Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's like you guys
wait, Mahler, they're media literate. Okay, it's media literacy.
Also, didn't Ryan point out one episode of The Acolyte costs more than the first season of Breaking Bad?
I think he did. Yeah, well, multiple people have pointed that out. Actually, it's insane.
It's pathetic. The defense, it's like, stop it. It was a bad show,
well,
and it's okay to admit
because the thing is as well, it's not like it just didn't get any exposure, and so people didn't know about it, so they never got a chance to experience it. It had reasonably good numbers for its premiere, as I understand, and then it just dropped off a cliff after that. That tells you that quite a few people tuned in for it. They gave it a chance. Recognized how shit it was, and then just didn't bother watching the rest.
I thought even those numbers were a bit fudged. Like
they were fudged because it's however many watch time in minutes and hours, blah blah blah, and so they did a 2-episode premiere to make it like just about an hour or just over an hour,
Yeah.
So the longer the premiere is, it skews their ways to show, like how many people have actually watched it, without going to look at the actual numbers. But yeah, that's how they did it. But I think what's so funny about this overall is that the individuals, so even those people that have now accepted it's been, it's gone, they're still throwing their vitriol elsewhere, but they're like, oh, hey, actually, it's not cancelled. It wasn't cancelled. All right, it's just not renewed. And you're like, right. So they spent $180 million on a show which ended on a cliffhanger with multiple plots, multiple plot threads completely unanswered. And you don't think they were planning multiple seasons? They were absolutely planning multiple seasons.
Yeah,
they
the
thought
cliffhangers,
they were onto a winner with this.
That final episode is filled with shit like you want to see Yoda, you want to see Vanastra Rowe's relationship with Quimia, you want to see the Gooner in the cave, you want to see what's going to happen with May and Ocean. It's like, no, we don't. But I know that you do. I know that you want to tell these stories.